You are blissfully unaware of all the ways that movement is broken in GTA 5 and GTA Online. Completely unaware of how much of your time you've wasted because you haven't seen this video before. Being a person with 10,000 hours of speedrunning experience, I guarantee you I know tricks that you've never seen before. This video covers not only the ways to go faster in vehicles, but how to go faster on foot and even warp around basically everywhere, even through walls. While I will show off a lot of this stuff in GTA 5, everything I showcase does work also in GTA Online, unless I say otherwise, and in such cases, I will explain how it works in GTA Online. Although obviously some of this stuff doesn't apply to GTA Online, like you can't make a save file there for example, so why would things about save files apply to that game? So let's go, prepare to have your life change for the better. Brake boosting is arguably the most difficult technique to master in regards to gaining additional speed with vehicles, and it involves using elevation changes in the road that don't quite lift your car off the ground. While holding acceleration, as the front of your car reaches the crest of a bump, you should press and release brake. A success traditionally results in a skid sound and mark, but getting the maximum boost and not potentially slowing yourself down takes a great deal of practice and eventually just comes down to feel, as the amount you need to brake can vary on your speed, your vehicle, and what you're attempting to brake boost on. Brake boosting is most fun in single player, where it can be used in conjunction with Franklin's special ability, as it greatly enhances the boosting effect. Leaning forward on a bike makes you slightly faster than normal and gives you additional turning. On the other hand, doing a wheelie gives you even greater speed, but at the cost of being able to turn as effectively. Curb boosting is the easiest way to gain additional speed in GTA 5, as it just involves going up and down on curbs or anything that results in your suspension being compressed. You both gain speed faster, and you can get a higher top speed using this basic trick. Bunny hopping rapidly with the BMX bike enables you to build up a lot of speed very quickly. It does eventually become difficult to control, but it is the fastest bike if you do this effectively. The mid-drive speed boost, also known as double clutching, is a somewhat advanced trick to gain additional speed. The idea is to let go of acceleration, tap handbrake, and then accelerate again whilst you're still in second gear and before you change into the third. This is easiest with rear-wheel drive cars and can't be done with front-wheel drive. This does work with all-wheel drive vehicles, but you need to tap normal brake along with handbrake. If done correctly, you will traditionally hear a nice revving of your vehicle. Michael is surprisingly the master of the aquatic parts of Grand Theft Auto 5. He swims faster than Franklin and Trevor in all camera angles and both on top and under the water. Even more surprisingly though is that aquatic vehicles that he drives actually go faster as well. When going downhill on a bike that can bunny hop, holding the bunny hop button removes all your traction and makes you slide as if on ice. This enables you to move faster than any other form of movement on the bike. Your character is normally in a passive stance, but moves into combat mode when you fire your gun, or usually when you're being shot at. This results in your character standing differently, as if they were ready for action, and your camera will zoom in slightly, presumably to get you close to the upcoming action. Your character will leave combat mode if you don't fire your gun or get shot at for 15 seconds. The only exception to this is the police and a wanted level, as you will move into combat mode when you get near them without needing to fire your gun or be fired at, and you will stay in that mode until you lose the wanted level. There are also scenes like the shootout on Bury the Hatchet where you are permanently locked into this mode as well. While combat mode was perhaps meant to be just cosmetic, it does have some actual effects on your gameplay. For example, your character will now stagger their movement if you go into and leave first-person camera. Additionally, you can no longer walk. Your slowest movement speed is jogging, which can actually be useful in a handful of scenes to bypass forced walking. Combat mode also gives you access to so-called tab movement, which is a 10% speed increase whenever you put away and bring out your gun while in third-person camera mode. Of the three main characters, Franklin is the only one that benefits a great deal from tab movements. This is because in first person, all characters move a consistent 25 km per hour. This makes first person mode speed preferable for Trevor and Michael, as the boost of tab movement is done to the slower third person camera speed, therefore only boosting them to 25.5 and 26 km per hour. While this is still faster, the downsides of usually needing having to slow down to shoot to enter combat mode, the speed only lasting 15 seconds, and the loss of quick turning make it not worth it. Franklin and our character in GTA Online are a different story. As Franklin is already very fast in third-person camera, he is boosted to 28 km per hour using tap movement, which is significantly faster than his 25 km per hour first-person camera speed. This means that the downsides of tab movement are sometimes worth it for Franklin and are sometimes worth it for us as well in GTA Online. There is one last strange benefit that may only somewhat be related to combat mode. Normally when you get out of a vehicle, your car engine turns off, requiring you to start it again if you want to drive away. However, if you fire your gun before getting in the vehicle, when you leave it, your engine and radio will stay on. This means that you don't have to start the car when you get back in and can therefore take off immediately. Unfortunately, this effect is oddly short-lived. If you drive too far, it will not work, even if you continue to fire your gun while driving your car. More interestingly, even without shooting your gun, your car actually always stays on when you get out of it if police are near you and you have a wanted level. Unfortunately, having just a wanted level isn't sufficient. Cops must be around. This is, however, more beneficial than the other method, as it doesn't matter how far you travel, it will still work. And any car you got out of under the right conditions will stay on, regardless of how far you travel. Normally when Trevor falls off things and starts to ragdoll, his power is removed, so of course he dies when he hits the ground. This, however, does not happen if Trevor fell because of an explosion.
Come on, kids, that's fighting!
When outdoors, running in first person is the fastest form of movement in general, with third person and forms of jumping lagging behind. Specifically outdoors, while all three characters run at their fastest speed in first-person camera and each run at the same speed, in third-person mode, Franklin is slightly faster, followed by Michael, then Trevor. Running down and upstairs in third person is quite slow compared to first person, which is amazingly fast. You can see a clear difference when recording the characters from above as they move. In first person, your character doesn't really register the stairs at all. Just to be fair, this also does apply to any stairs indoors as well. Braddock Tunnel is the only tunnel in the game that is treated as an interior, and therefore your character is limited by all the interior movement rules. For the sake of simplicity, I will use this tunnel to talk about those rules. When you are inside a building, comparing third person and first person jumping and normal running, it turns out that jumping in general is the faster form of movements. Franklin, Michael and Trevor, when indoors in first person camera, run at the exact same speed. In third person, however, specifically Michael for some reason lags behind Trevor and Franklin. To be clear, when I say that these rules apply to interiors, I mean anywhere that Rockstar remembered to apply those rules. Rockstar of course sometimes forgets to apply them to certain areas. While I will talk about console later, on PC, if you want to do a so-called buffered ledge grab, your phone special and jump button must be on separate keys. To activate this glitch, take cover on something you can climb. Then, bring out your phone and press the buttons you use to climb, in my case W and space. This will cause you to be pushed out of cover. You can now move wherever you want, but when you stand still and put down your phone, the game will warp you back in order to complete the climb animation. The limitations and uses of this glitch are somewhat complex. You can, for example, put your phone down and not get warped back as long as you are in cover. But the second you move off cover without your phone up, the glitch will activate. Driving a car disables the glitch, even if you keep your phone up while driving. When you get out and put down your phone, nothing will happen. To fix this, you must take cover when you get out of the car. This for some reason makes the glitch work again and you will warp to where you started the glitch as normal. It is also important to note that the warp is tied to the object, not the location you performed the glitch. This means you can do it on a car, drive the car somewhere else, and you will still reliably warp back to that car. The max distance you can warp is debatable because it depends on FPS, but at the very least, if the object you are attempting to warp to despawns, it will not work. Different settings such as distance scaling will impact how far you can travel without the object despawning. Unfortunately, this glitch cannot normally be carried through cutscenes. The only exceptions are when you end the cutscene in a car or in cover. This is the case on the mission Bury the Hatchet. Michael is in cover after the cutscene, thus moving out of cover activates the glitch previously set up when you arrived.
Where are you?
A much more inconsistent aspect of this glitch can be achieved if you destroy the climbable object just before you warp back to it.
That's just because you have a massive gaper, bitch!
You can even dive through the ground if your setup was done next to water. For those on console, the only thing that is different is that you must pull up your phone and then immediately vault, jump or climb, as the game won't let you jump with your phone fully open. So it's the same basic idea, but there's some timing requirements. To add on to this, surprisingly, the GTA Online Los Santos Mercenaries DLC has impacted story mode. You can no longer do buffered ledge grabs just standing out of cover. You must go back into cover and then leave it to activate the warp. Doing a buffered ledge grab in GTA Online is different due to your phone animations not being the same, and obviously new patches can change how this works. As of right now though, you must first activate Snap-O-Matic Quick Launch in your phone. Then open your phone and take cover while launching the Snap-O-Matic app midway. The app should automatically close, and then you just need to wait for your character to put your phone back into its pocket. It is at this point you perform a vault, a climb, or a jump, and use your quick launch button to open the camera app. You then need to keep opening and closing the camera app to keep the buffered ledge grab active. Once you have reached your desired location, simply stop opening and closing the camera app, or just take cover and then exit the cover. Do note that if you get into a vehicle, just like in single player, you don't have to hold up your phone. It's simply when outside of a vehicle that all this is necessary. Rockstar has already tried to patch this, and I suspect they will continue to try to do so until they succeed.
Bad news, Capitan. If you wish to open double keycard system, only way is with 2 people. Only way is with 2 people. We have its location locked. A good reason to come back. And here we are. Again.
Learning all the ways that this breaks GTA Online is honestly not worth it because again, they are probably going to patch this out. At any point where you can make a save file, you can use that save file to warp back to your safe house. Simply load the save and hold a character swap button that does not correspond with the character you're loading into. Then simply let go of that button when you start to load in. Save warping can also be done using mission replays, but the only advantage to doing this is that you can do it underwater.
Let's go to Vespucci.
If you press Alt F4, your car immediately stops. This is also true of switching characters in GTA Online. Running prevents your character from receiving or making phone calls. To show what I mean, consider this mission that ends after a phone call is made by your character. As the running prevents the phone call from being made, the mission cannot end. Of course, whenever you stop, you are able to receive everything like normal again.
I handled the mask, man. Don't worry about him.
Aiming with a weapon helps your character not fall while going down a hill. The same is true for going uphill. Holding aim down sights while climbing a tall object causes the animation to end sooner, meaning you climb faster. Holding aim down sight while jumping indoors and outdoors enables you to jump faster. Although you end up jumping twice as much, it does not actually make you faster. When swimming on the surface of the water, swimming in first person is significantly faster than swimming in third person. When under the water, there is no significant difference between the two camera modes, but it is faster to swim underwater than on the surface. Rubber banding is a technique that Rockstar uses to make sure NPCs in some scenes do not get too far away from you. The funniest example of this is in the mission Paleto score setup. If you take a shortcut back with Trevor, Lester and Michael's vehicle will enter warp speed to catch up to you, so you don't have to wait too long at the end. While in this case rubber banding is a good thing, it is annoying in other places like street races, where your opponents will cheat by teleporting so you can't get too far ahead. It turns out that if you ragdoll specifically in first person, for a brief period afterwards you can change your angle while climbing. Also important, you can't sprint or this will remove the effects. This footage using the Rockstar editor shows how weird this looks, and of course if you angle yourself towards a wall you will go right through it. This can be used on the speedrun clips during fresh meat and cleaning out the bureau. More impactful for everyone else though, this can also be used in KO Perico runs to bypass restrictions from getting additional loot. Although you have to be more creative with how you ragdoll, as you can only do it on command in single player. In many missions in GTA 5, like here on Reunite the Family, an NPC that's trying to get into your vehicle but is taking too long will simply warp in.
Not to like lay it on you.
This is the same effect Dave has on Three's Company,
I need you to make a couple of calls.
and Lamar has on Repossession.
Nigga, I don't give a shit.
Under normal circumstances, you will always spawn at the hospital closest to you when you die outside of a mission. However, if you start a mission replay, die while in a car, and then leave the replay, your character will still be considered to be located where you died in the replay. This will result in you spawning at a different hospital. If the game can't figure out how to get you out of your vehicle, it'll simply warp you.
Lester, I'm very impressed.
This is also true in some contexts where you trigger to get into a vehicle and the game can't figure out how to get you in. A ladder launch is achieved by pressing up on a ladder and then quickly pressing down and slide. Some ladders require you to run onto them and have tight timings, whereas others are more lenient. Your FPS influences how far you go, with more FPS giving you greater heights.
Who put you up to this? Trevor? You're an idiot!
In single player, you can even use the character swap button to get an even larger launch. Job warping in GTA Online is the process of starting a job from the map and cancelling it as it loads. This results in you appearing where the job was located on the map. While I don't play on console, apparently you need to unplug your controller for 30 seconds before attempting to do this to achieve the same result, and this effect is somewhat dependent upon your connection to the host. Custom jobs, like the one I just used, can even be placed to spawn inside interiors. Normally, you're not able to do job warping on missions because all the jobs disappear from the map. However, you can fix this before any job by opening up your phone and searching for a random job and then cancelling that job search. On the Paleto score, your characters are immune to fire due to their armor, which has the downside of also massively reducing their movement speed. Strangely though, when they get to the chicken factory, everyone becomes very vulnerable to fire. In fact, the NPCs that you don't control will die instantly to it.
Hey, we got a train to catch!
More interestingly though, if you light yourself on fire, your character will get up and do a forced panic run, resulting in your character being given very fast movement speed despite wearing the armor.
We punch through, we get clear! Come on!
Some vehicles gain additional speed from wiggling from side to side. Most of them have trailers like this vehicle in the mission Pac-Man. On the left you can see me wiggling, hearing a clunking sound while avoiding going too far either side, which would result in my tires squealing. The NPCs on the jewel store heist are the only NPCs in the entire game that will actually care if you honk your horn and will therefore run faster. Normally when you hold down the character swap button, your game moves very slowly, but for every character, if you go to Trevor's trailer while holding it down, this effect is removed. This doesn't work at any other safe house. Once you let go of the character swap button, things will return to normal, both in terms of your game speed as well as the character swap button causing slowdown again. Traditionally, at the end of missions, you are locked into slow movement and are thus unable to jump or run. But it was recently discovered that if spacebar isn't your primary or secondary jump button, you can jump during a mission pass screen.
Goodbye, friend.
The Paleto score requires you to wear thick armor that slows your movement speed, but this speed reduction can be removed by shooting a car until it leaks petrol, lighting the petrol on fire, getting inside the car, and then switching character. When you then switch back, you'll be able to run at normal speed and still maintain the armor's benefits.
Try your hardest!
As many of you likely know, there is an effect unique to street races known as Slipstreams, where sitting behind another racer produces white lines that give you a speed boost. What you likely don't know is that if you start a new game while in a street race, this effect will carry over to your new playthrough, so any mission where you chase a vehicle, it will produce a slipstream. The first mission where you can see this effect is Father Son, when you get close to the truck pulling Michael's boat. While throughout the speedrun this effect would save a lot of time, it is not allowed in current rules. Taxis in GTA 5 have a glitch that enables you to instantly teleport to your safe house. You just need to start a taxi job, get out of your vehicle, and then attempt to swap characters on the very frame where getting out cancels the mission.
I'm open for a pickup.
Guy just canceled on me, so there's a job near you right now.
Oh yeah, I'll take that one.
This strategy is so difficult and therefore unreliable that it is rarely used even by other speedrunners. The rest of you could always just have someone else drive you to your safe house, but where's the fun in that? One of my favorite glitches in this game is called the human kite. Get on a train with your character, take cover wherever you want, and then aim down the sight, slowly turning yourself to move yourself off the train. As you are no longer technically attached to the train, it will begin to outdistance you, and when you stop aiming down the sight, the game will try to rubber band you back to where you first took cover. The reason why this is called the human kite glitch is that if you let the train massively outdistance you and then stop aiming down the sight, you can go on a little adventure. Wasn't that fun? I'm sure by the end of the video you've probably already forgotten half the things I said, so you should probably watch it all again or else you're gonna forget. Either that or go watch some of my other videos, I've got some good ones. Regardless of what you do with your limited time though, I wish you all the best, thank you for watching.